Hi, we're back again. It's the Active Podcast. I hope you've had a great week. Have you guys had a great week?
I mean,
No. What was the point in asking that question?
I've had an alright week. You guys had a pretty
Matt, I've had an amazing week.
Yeah, I had a good week. Some, not so much. Why
Not so much. No.
Why not?
It's been awful.
What happened? Can I just say before we go to this, all my Wolves fans friends out there, I looked at all my Wolves fans Snapchat stories yesterday and they're all getting gassed like Fabio Silva's this, Fabio Silva that, he's finally here. And then like I checked the next step and they're like, I hate this club, I don't want to support them anymore. Depression.
What?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, so far on the podcast, we've spoken about Arsenal's downfall. We've spoken about Chelsea's downfall. And in the background of all of this, Wolves have been doing pretty poorly from all of it.
Sneakily
the thing is,
failing.
Yeah, the thing is, your guys' two clubs, you basically just fell off like that, like pretty spectacularly. Whereas we've just been slowly getting worse and worse for quite a while now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been quiet, but this has brought it to the fore.
One win in 9 games.
It's this new philosophy, isn't it? It's this new philosophy that he keeps trying to bring in with this back four. And clearly, right, he's signed players that are going to fit this new style, but not enough. Like you've signed what? He's signed two fullbacks and a midfielder.
Most of the squad is still suited to a back five. And I mean, even the signings we made in the summer, like Ryan Aït-Nouri is more suited to a back five so far. That's what we've seen. Well, he's better going forward than defensively. Although he's improved defensively a fair bit, to be fair. And he's played well recently. And Semedo's improved quite a lot, I think. He's been one of that.
He's a back four player, though, Semedo.
Yeah, Semedo is. And to be fair, he's last kind of 3 or 4 weeks, he's looked a lot more comfortable defensively and he's linking up with Traoré well. So I think we can't blame, like at the start of the season, Semedo was kind of the scapegoat for a lot of our defensive issues, and now we can't blame him anymore because he's actually playing quite well. And it's more than just an individual thing, it's clearly a system issue. He's
clearly got over those Vietnam flashbacks of getting absolutely spun by Alphonso Davies in the Champions League last season.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of didn't help when he's joining a new club.
The thing is, you can't even blame that game on not having Jimenez. You scored 2 goals.
Yeah, I mean, our attack wasn't even bad, and that's kind of the point of this. It, like, we want our attack to be better, and it was much better. It was also pretty good against Everton, and we didn't deserve to lose that game. And then this game, we did deserve to lose because we were awful defensively. And some of it was just like, to be fair, some really good attacking play from West Brom. You've got to give them credit. They were actually pretty good. It was the best I've seen them play all season.
Yeah.
And but also just some stupid mistakes. I mean, both of the penalties that were given away, it's like, just be more careful in the box. It's so simple. Like, these guys are experienced defenders, and I don't know, the first penalty is a bit of a controversial one. Was it in the box? I'm not going to contest it too much, because it could have been on the line, so I'm not furious about that. And the second one was a Stonewall penalty.
He tackled him twice really poorly.
Yeah.
Was the funny thing. Like, it was, I went to the, I just saw Wolves fans going, oh, no, what a dive. Oh, he's diving so... You clipped him twice.
Yeah, like, it's a foul. It's definitely a foul.
You can make the most out as much as you want. You fouled him twice. It wasn't even just once. It was twice. So that was quite hilarious.
There were, I felt, some decisions that went against us. There was obviously the West Brom handball issue.
What can we talk about?
And that comes down to whether or not it was a foul by Fabio Silva and the keeper.
I honestly think the biggest reason that has blown up is purely because of the commentators. The commentators didn't once mention the foul on the keeper. If they would have turned around and said, exactly. If they'd have turned around and gone, oh, no, that's probably a foul on the keeper, it would have just silenced pretty much everything. But they didn't once mention it. And it was like, are you going to speak about this yet? No? Okay.
The thing is, the reason that slightly concerns me is that, you know, that the commentators do get like information from the VAR room and stuff. They get told what the VAR are checking for and stuff. So you wonder if they weren't maybe told that it was a foul on Fabio Silva, and therefore it wasn't considered by the referees to be a foul by Fabio Silva. And in that case, it should absolutely have been a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is it's 100% a foul on the keeper. the way Fabio Silva just didn't even look at the ball and just shoulder bar straight into his chest. My initial reaction, it's a foul on the keeper, but he didn't blow through, which was a bit strange.
Yeah.
It was the fact that they were talking about, he could never have got out the way of the ball, yet the ball was about 50 meters in the air, dropping. It was like, why are we talking about the handball when there was a clear foul? Like, what's going on?
It's a weird situation, and ultimately it doesn't matter because we deserve to lose. So
you did deserve to lose, but I think the thing that people are going a bit overboard with is this whole like relegation talk. Like, we've already discussed that you guys aren't in a relegation battle, but although you haven't had the best form, people are having worse form than you. You look at Brighton.
Exactly.
West Brom seem to be maybe could do something and claw themselves out of the relegation zone. But
I think if there's one to do it, it's Fulham that will claw themselves out.
Do you think so?
They've drawn against both Tottenham and Liverpool.
They've drawn against the big clubs because they have the mentality to do it against the big clubs. So when they're playing against small clubs like Brighton, West Brom, Sheffield, they're not doing anything. And that's their problem because those are the rivals they need to be beaten. It's all right if you get a point against Liverpool, but that does absolutely nothing for your campaign in the Premier League.
But it does show that they've got the ability to claw themselves out.
Yeah. And there's talent in that Fulham squad. I think
there is talent.
There is. I think I do agree that if any three of those three are going to do it, it's most likely to be Fulham. Other than this last game, West Brom have been terrible all season.
See, I think you guys are underestimating the power of Big Sam. Do you know what he does? He's a magician.
True.
Graham Potter is sweating right now. 3 points above West Brom. That guy is freaking out. They're on the same games as well.
I don't think if one of those clubs in the relegation zone gets out, I don't think it'll be Brighton to fall back in. I think they've really struggled to pick up points, but I just can't see them getting relegated. They are too good a side to get relegated.
I think I just want it to happen. I just want Basuma and Lamptey half price. Really, I think that's what I'm thinking about.
And you want to see the sadness on Mopé's face, don't you?
I do. I want to see Mopé go down so bad. You don't understand. This is a rivalry now. Arsenal Brighton. This is what we've come to. I don't like that guy.
It's a bit premature, but Lamptey has signed a new 5-year deal recently with Brighton. We'll get into contracts to transfer a new player.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's just signed a new.
Why? What? Do you not want to leave? Why would you not want to leave? Wait, hang on. This is only a year since he signed his last one. When he signed, signed January last year, right?
Yeah.
Why would you? Okay, so Brighton are in the right, obviously, because obviously he's one of their best players. So you would sign him a year later. We did it at Martinelli. Most clubs do that. But why would you sign one? There's so many clubs after him. It's good for for him. It is a good move because development-wise, he's starting every game. If he came to Arsenal and he wasn't doing good, then he'd get slated and he probably wouldn't start. But still, come on. We'll get to this later, but I'm just upset.
But the other thing that made me laugh in the Wolves game is the blatant dive of Fabio Silva and then the realisation that he knew he got in the wrong there. Just
very Portuguese thing, isn't it? They love to dive. They love a good dive, isn't it?
But it was just
10 from Fabio.
There was no complaints afterwards. He was like, "Yeah, fair enough. I've dived there."
Yeah. It was so he didn't get booked for it, did it? He didn't get booked for it.
No, he did. He got a yellow card.
Did he?
Sure. Oh no, he did. Yeah, he did. I'm forgetting. Yeah, he did get a yellow. So
which was quite funny.
But yeah, it was a shame as well because he could have carried on there.
I don't know. Really,
it happens so often. I really don't.
No club does it often though, because Adama does it as well.
Adama's not a diver. Neto, he's not.
He dived like 4 times against Arsenal. Are you mad? He dives so often.
No.
Have you not heard?
Adama does everything he can to stay up. He
doesn't.
He gets absolutely bullied.
Sam, listen.
He stays on his feet.
Listen. I know you have to back your winger. Yeah, because he's your winger, of course. He's your star man. He's got the pace. He's got the strength. But listen to me. No guy, right, who is as strong as Adama and as fast as Adama is going to go down against Rob Holding in any circumstance. I
think it's circumstantial.
Ever going to
I think it's circumstantial.
I
think if he knows he can get past someone quite comfortably and he's going to get clips, he'll carry on. But if there's nothing in front of him, then you might as well just take the touch.
If there's contact, then there's nothing wrong with going down. It's not a dive.
No, but obviously, sometimes
even if you could have stayed up, if there's contact, then it's not a dive.
Yeah, I mean, Neto did it against Chelsea.
Neto did it, and Neto's done it a couple of times, and Jota used to do it all the time. I just don't like to see when like a player could carry on going and maybe score a goal. Like, you're not going to get away with a dive. You cannot get away with a dive anymore.
Yeah,
especially now with the VAR as well. Yeah,
I think the thing is, was it Tierney against Chelsea? Who was it that went down against us?
Yeah, you was trying to say we never talked about it. We said we were going to speak about it.
I'm level head here. It's they know that there's going to be contact at some point, and it's gambling essentially at that point. So Fabio Silva knew that there was someone right by him. He was going to initiate the dive as such and hope that there'd be contact.
I have initiated the dive going down.
Is essentially already committed to going down, and he's waiting for that contact to basically confirm it's a penalty, which at that point it didn't. So that's what he's going for, but you might as well just run with it. You've got past him.
Yeah, it's just
Well, speaking of diving, I'll tell you who dives the most. It's ridiculous. Wilfried Zaha is I like Wilfried Zaha, right? That guy is disgusting. And against us the other day, I think he died like 3 times, just in the box, just trying to get every single penalty he could, and it never worked ever. But it just makes you think more when he played. Like, imagine him instead of Pepe. No, I like Pepe. I know it's taboo to say this, but I wanted somebody now. Yeah, if you spend 70, I say this about Ewan. When Ewan talks about how he bought Timo Werner and Kai Havertz for 100 million combined. If you're spending that kind of money, you want results right now, and Pepe is on that done. And I think if he bought Zaha, we would have had the was a bit of a madness. Do you know what I mean?
But
and it was for less.
Yeah, I mean, bringing it back to Wolves, I've got one question to ask.
Ewan, I've just made a segue.
Nah. There's a more important thing about Wolves that we haven't spoken about. I'm sorry, I wasn't having that.
It was so clean.
I don't care. I wasn't having that one.
Go on, say what you're gonna say then.
The main thing right now, Nuno. Sam, is he in or is he out?
He's not going anywhere. They would
but there's Wolves fans out there that are saying Nuno out.
There are plenty of. I could have, you could have predicted it before the game. You could have said, look, if Wolves lose, Nuno out will be heard across Wolverhampton, because losing to West Brom in the first derby in nearly 10 years, this is devastating for the city and every Wolves fan. But I am still firmly Nuno in. I will not endorse.
You have to understand
him.
that this guy got you into the Premier League.
Exactly.
You
need
that's my
perspective.
thought on it. But what's the thing is, you got to look at what his targets are this season.
We've come so far under Nuno.
You can't go,
so far.
We signed him as a championship manager.
Yeah.
We should let him get us back into the championship type thing. No, your targets now are to push through Europa League football.
And he got you Europa League football in your first season as well.
Exactly.
But you're not
and then
now.
Only because we won the cup. Only because
it wasn't necessarily any problem with our season last season that we didn't get Europa League football. We finished on more points last season than we did in our first season. So the fact that we didn't get Europa League football just purely came down to the fact that Arsenal finished 8th, but they won the FA Cup. So that was just, that's just the way it works. But obviously, our goal now is to be consistently challenging for Europa League football. We're not this season, and we're not going to this season, based on this evidence, unless things turn around fast. And at this point, for me, the season is kind of like, in terms of those goals, it's kind of just a write-off. Like, I think we need to start focusing already on next season and next summer, because we've had a lot of players out injured. That's certainly not helped our season, and with the attempted transition into a new style, it's, obviously we were gonna struggle. You could tell that we were gonna struggle with all these issues going on. But I certainly wouldn't get rid of Nuno. I don't see how that would help at all at the moment. Just cause it would be such a unpopular thing to do, I think, with the squad, because we've got all these Portuguese players who've been brought in by Nuno. And then if Nuno goes, what happens to them? All these guys who've been indoctrinated into the Nuno philosophy at the club, like that could trigger a serious problem for our squad. Like we could see players leave, players no longer want to be at the club. So I think it'd be a really bad idea to get rid of Nuno.
Do you know what I think it is as well? I think what he's done is because you've consistently now, well, not consistently, for 2 seasons that you've been in the Prem before this, you were finishing 7th, right?
Yeah.
And in his head, he's thinking he's trying to make the transition from a club that is no longer trying to stay in the league and a club that is now trying to challenge for these big spaces like Europa League, Champions League, and eventually, I mean, every club wants to win the league. It's the fairy tale dream like Leicester had. And when you look at Leicester as an example, they came in and they had a season where they did pretty good, and then the next season they won the league. And he's essentially tried to change his philosophy so that he can attack these clubs like City, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea consistently, because obviously you've already done it against City. You've beaten City, you did the double over City last season. And if you want to consistently keep doing that and then also beat the smaller teams, if you do that, you are going to fight for these Champions League spots, clearly, because if you can do it against both, that's how it works, isn't it? If you're getting points from the rich, getting points from the poor, you're in a good spot.
I mean,
but it hasn't worked because you haven't got the resources to switch. Do you know what I mean? Like you didn't have you signed 2 players to switch and it wasn't enough, which I think is his problem.
There needs to be more transition in the squad, and there needs to be upgrades in more areas of the squad. I think I kind of hate to say it because I love the guy, but I think maybe we need to think about a permanent replacement for João Moutinho. The guy he's 34 now, and in his first season he was magical, and his second season he was really good, and this season he's been good, but you can see the drop off, and it's only going to get worse. And he hasn't really got the legs anymore to just get up and down the pitch constantly like he used to. And in this more attacking, more pressing system that we want to do, we need midfielders with a lot of stamina and a lot of legs, and then Donker does that, but Neves isn't going to do that. Neves isn't a mobile player. So we need someone else who can come into the midfield with a more box-to-box mentality, who can get up and down the pitch. And whether that's someone like Renato Sanchez, I think would be a great signing.
Oof, that would be such a good signing.
Yeah.
So...
Just bring the whole Portuguese team over.
At this point. But we also probably do need a new centre-back, someone pretty big who can come in and be a real upgrade to the defence. Who it is that drops out of our centre-back in the first 11, I don't know. I don't want to see Connor Cody dropped, but I also don't want to see Bolly dropped or anyone
I think
like
Cody's a better centre-back than Bolly, though. Personally.
Yeah, I think so. And
he's going to pick one.
He's been more stable in a back four than Bolly has.
Of course. Yeah, he has. Because he's played there. I mean, when he was at Liverpool, he's obviously played in the back four, so he's familiar.
Did he? He played as a CDM, didn't he?
Was he CDM?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he started as a midfielder as a youth player.
Ah, right. Okay, then maybe not then.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
We played a back 5 at England as well, didn't we?
Well, he played a back 4 for England when Maguire got sent off. That was, I think, the first.
Yeah, so not for not long though. He's only played in the back 4 for a short period of time. So I mean, but he must be familiar. He must have the adaptability to do it. Clearly,
yeah.
I mean, he's young,
and he has adapted well.
Yeah, he has. He does seem to have been fairly decent in that role. Maybe because he's been a CDM, he kind of gets the idea of a back 4.
But it's becoming more of a thing. You bring midfielders into centre back. I mean, the game today, Liverpool versus Man U.
Yeah, they had 2 CDMs in defence.
Henderson
was in centre back. Like what's going on?
He hasn't been that bad at centre back as well. I mean, I know he did it against Villa's kids, which was weird. I think that was the first time I'd seen him in centre back. And then he obviously did it today, and he wasn't bad at all. I mean, that game was such a dead game anyway. But
you say he wasn't bad. It seems like he wasn't. He's not someone that you could transition into a centre back at all. I mean, Fabinho was running the whole show. I mean, at times Fabinho was covering Henderson because he was out of position.
But you also have to ask yourself, why have they not signed anyone yet? It's January.
Yeah.
They clearly must have some money. Why would you not think to maybe sign somebody? Well, your 2 best centre backs are out now for the rest of the season.
I think I'm going to quickly sneak in a transfer rumour now. There's been Tomori is obviously looking at going on loan to AC Milan, but there has also been talked in another Premier League club that's been disclosed that have just came in to speak about it. So we already knew about Newcastle and Leeds were looking at getting him on loan. Where apparently there's another club that has just came in, and with AC Milan looking at him and 2 La Liga clubs that have been disclosed as well, they're looking at him. Is it potential that it's Liverpool?
I couldn't see Liverpool going for someone like Tomori. He's a rival. He's not a rival.
I couldn't see Chelsea offering him to Liverpool.
Yeah,
that would be too
helpful.
You can still look into inquiring about him.
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
he goes or not. So they're clearly looking for someone. If it is them, it might be Arsenal or I don't know, Tottenham or someone like that. But
I think we're right, and that's the back problems, luckily. So we'll be okay.
But yeah, so they are looking at centre backs at the minute. But the real issue for them is they can't score. They've been goalless in 3 games.
The thing is, right, is that everyone's saying this is that they still have the most goals in the Prem. They've still scored the most.
But a goalless drought for three games isn't what you expect from Liverpool.
3 games without a goal, it's worrying. And having watched those games, like they're just not quite the same. And I imagine it's obviously a problem. There's obviously something that's gone a bit wrong with their attack. And because their defense is. They've sorted all those issues out, it seems like, despite having Henderson at the back. They've actually been really good defensively for a little while now. And it just seems like there's a lack of incisiveness and decisiveness, because they aren't playing those killer passes. They aren't just creating high-quality chances. So,
yeah, the biggest one for me is watching Firmino play today. He was dreadful.
Yeah. Literally, right, they didn't even really mark him. Like the Maguire and was it Lindelof were like, just allow him because he's not going to do anything.
And like the thing is, Liverpool fans that are really backing Firmino are like, oh yeah, he might not score goals, but his passing and his build-up play is fantastic. He couldn't flip him pass the ball at all.
You have to look at Thiago as well, because Thiago didn't do anything either, and this is why they signed him, was to make chances like this.
I thought Thiago was great. I don't think that's Thiago's job.
Thiago ran the show in the first.
Thiago is not an attacking midfielder, and he's not.
But he sits deep and should be able to create chances.
He played a couple of balls behind the lines.
He's a midfielder with the ability to create chances, but that's not. I don't see that as his role in the team, and that wasn't really his role at Bayern. He's a deep lying playmaker. He will control the game, control the tempo.
He wasn't making any plays.
Okay,
I think he was. To be fair, I think he played in a couple amazing passes, but it came to. The biggest miss from. The biggest miss from Firmino was when Thiago played a ball into Mane. Mane passed it off to him, and Firmino just I think what my problem is that I expected more from him. When you look at this guy, this guy's won Champions Leagues, he's won Bundesliga countless times. Is he not coming from an injury though? Still,
no. But the problem is
this was his first time start of the season.
Even pre-injury. I know he's injured when he signed as well. But even like after that, it was like I was thinking in my head like up there of like Bruno and KDB, and he clearly isn't that. But that's
the different positions.
I think if you
KDB can play
if you go into a game. I think if you go into a game and watch Thiago and you expect him to be like creating chances left, right, and centre, then you will not think he's very good, because he's a deep midfielder. He's almost a CDM. He's the deepest of their midfield 3. Wijnaldum gets forward more, and Shaqiri. I don't know if Shaqiri was playing in a midfield 3 or whatever was going on there, but he was obviously getting more advanced. So Thiago,
would you say it's a world-class version of Jorginho?
This guy,
yeah,
has to bring his somewhere.
Sure, we'll say that. I actually kind of agree with that, in that he plays in a similar position to Jorginho, but he just does so much more in that position. He can control the game from deep. He is a lot more mobile than Jorginho. He's a brilliant dribbler. Yeah. And defensively, he cleans up. He's really underrated, I think, defensively. Some of his stats from his seasons at Bayern Munich, he was like up there with the best in the league defensively. So his reading of the game is exceptional, and his passing ability is exceptional. And I think he's going to be someone to dictate games rather than create those chances for Liverpool. So yeah, to be honest, I thought he was outstanding against Man United.
Yeah, it's just there was just nothing really being created when it was the final pass. It was genuinely the final pass.
Yeah,
and Man United's are just counters.
Can we talk about this referee thing in the half time? How was he going to blow
I
the
missed
whistle
it
when they were in goal?
completely. I completely missed that. I don't know how.
It doesn't make it. Mane's literally 1-on-1. Yeah.
Oh,
and my guy is just blowing the whistle. And before time as well. It was before 46 minutes. Tapped. This is like this is English, the pinnacle of English refereeing, isn't it? Really? Because how can you just? This guy is clearly a United fan. I remember I saw a photo the other day.
It was Paul Tierney, wasn't it?
It was Paul Tierney.
I hate him. I cannot stand him. I'm sorry.
I can't remember what player it was. He hates Paul Tierney. Oh, no one really likes him. But there was a photo that was like uploaded 10 years ago today of a Liverpool player posting the referee in a Man United shirt. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head now. And it's like, it just screams like bias again, like they're doing that. But
yeah. But I mean, they still had 45 minutes to score again.
Yeah, but you have to understand that when you've got a chance like that, it doesn't matter because those kind of in a game like this where everyone's just defending, those kind of chances come few and far between. And you just basically wasted it to no fault of your own. And I guarantee you right now, Klopp is just fuming. I could imagine him.
He always is. He has been the whole of the season. Klopp's been fuming.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think he's had a calm kind of, don't worry, we'll be fine type thing about him. He's just been raging.
Maybe that's what's so good about him though. Like he's obviously passionate and he doesn't just take
which is what you want.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, there's no segue for this, but the Chelsea game.
Oh, we're just not going to talk about my game. Your game was dead as well. I don't know why you even want to talk about your game.
Nah, there was a red card.
Your game was also dead, Jacob. Don't get it twisted.
All right. Yeah, Mason Mount doing his usual stuff, being the servant to the managers, the guy who saves careers clearly.
I mean, have you seen the videos going around with Eminem? The Eminem song.
I did, that's what I was thinking of. Dr. Dre in the tank.
Nah, but
no one believed in me.
Mason Mount actually runs the show for Chelsea at the age of 22, which is ridiculous.
It is. It looks good for England. From an England standpoint, obviously, I'm not a Chelsea fan. I don't know why
the thing that annoys me, I've been saying this for the last year and a half now that he's been playing for Chelsea. Mason Mount's his work off the ball. He can play those killer passes, and everyone's like, now Mason Mount, he's not that good. Okay,
Ewan, he scored a goal. All right, just chill. He scored the only goal of the game.
But it's not just that game though. He's typically the one that ends up he's the one that kickstarts everything at Chelsea at the minute. If we're having a rough patch or something, he's the one that's like sliding in, putting his heart on the line type thing. And he seems like the only one really that can be asked to do a lot of stuff half the time.
There's not a whole lot of inspiration coming from like your people who are supposed to be your main creators at the moment. I mean,
do you know what I'm going to say? Like controversial, right? On that point, Sam, is that I think there's so much money in your club that they just don't really care for the club, and I think that's why Mason Mount does, because he's come through the ranks and he actually cares for the club. But these don't.
I think that I agree with you. I agree with you that like if you look at all of our youngsters, they're the only ones that are really, really trying to put. I mean, Hudson-Odoi, every time he comes on the last couple of games, he pretty much set up the goal for Mason Mount. He was breaking lines. It is just our youth at the minute that are showing through, and that's the same last year.
Yeah,
it's starting to really show how much our youth academy is performing.
Yeah, I mean we've all known that Chelsea have always had a great youth academy, and finally everyone can see firsthand how good it is and how important it is to have a youth academy that can produce players that will play for your first team, because they have spent years at the club. They're dedicated. They're committed. They want to prove themselves. And I think every club should have like 2 or 3 academy players at least in their squad. And I mean, Wolves, we don't really have many. Gibbs White's back now, which is good. But at the very least, we've kind of got an atmosphere of everybody's very committed and together and under their manager. But I think a lot of clubs struggle with not having enough players who are truly like fans as well as just being paid.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you look at Chelsea's, if you look at the best players of Chelsea's team this season, you've got Reece James, he was an academy player. You've got Mason Mount, academy player. Okay, Zuma wasn't. I don't think he was an academy player at least, but
he's been there a long time.
He's been at the club for a long, long time. I mean, was meant to have a breakthrough season around 2015. Got his a massive injury, went to Stoke, then went to Everton, and he's back. But those three are probably the main. I mean, you've also got Thiago Silva that's performing amazingly as well. But those three are all pretty much Chelsea. Not born and bred, but
you have to also. It just makes you think and imagine now, like how good could your team have been during the Jose era if he actually played his youth? Like, because we all know he's not really one for youth, is he? Now? So think of all the players that have left your club that have gone.
The thing is, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about this. I mean, I suppose they're not youth actually. I was thinking more of the Salah, De Bruyne, Lukaku players. Like everyone goes, what a team they could have had.
He signed them because he thought they were good and they just weren't at the time, I should say. Whereas youth players that have come through and he hasn't given them a chance.
You've also got to think of the whole thing of they didn't get a chance, but how much did it mean to them the fact that they've gone and they've got released or got sold, like from a big club back then that was massive. Well, we still are a massive club, but we were really performing at the top of our level then. How much would that mean to you to go, hold on a second, no, I'm not having that, let me work as hard as possible now for this club that I'm at, because this ain't happening again to me, and I'm going to prove to them they shouldn't have sold me? How much does that play into it?
But it does, but true. you can still be rubbish. Like, unfortunately, like your drive doesn't make you better at football. Like, I don't know if you know, like, because like all these clubs do it. Arsenal do it. All clubs with like big, well-known, world-class youth development systems always released like between 5 and 10 players every season.
I mean,
probably
Tariq Lamptey.
Yeah,
look what he did.
You sold him because you couldn't play him in right back because Reece James was there. But like those players, like you could still be rubbish. Like after the plenty of time, I don't know if you saw, like, do you know Cohen Bramall is? Basically, he was just left back in it. Basically, Arsenal used to have. We released him. He looked really promising, and he just wasn't that good. And now he's in League Two, and like he's all right. But he wants to be back, and they always want to. You always want to fight for it. But if you're just rubbish, it's peak, isn't it?
Yeah, but did you play your youth player against Crystal Palace? Then Nketiah? Did he come on and make an appearance for you?
He did come on. I'm a bit worried for Nketiah at this point because we've had offers for him already, like transfer offers. West Ham made an offer, which I don't know if it was an offer or an inquiry, but either way we said no. He hasn't really. He's coming to an age now where he needs to.
I was going to say, surely he is at the point now where he should be playing.
You're at a position in your career. What is he? 20, 21, and he's like you're at that point. You're in a position in your career where you need to start trying to fight your way into the side, otherwise you're going to get left behind, and he doesn't want to be continuing to play on the under 21s.
And this is if any time in the past like 5 years, this is the time as a young striker at Arsenal to try and break through, because Aubameyang's old and he's had a poor season. Lacazette's old. He's obviously had a better season than Aubameyang.
Lacazette's potentially leaving.
Well, who said that?
There's transfer rumours for Lacazette.
Who told you that? Who? Trust me, bro. Is that
no? I'm just saying that there's rumours. There's potential that he could end up.
The only reason why it's a rumour is because his contract is coming toward is starting to go to an end. End of next season, his contract expires. There's rumours that we might offer him like a new year, 1 year or 2 year deal. But as far as I know, I don't think it's going anywhere. He says he likes Arsenal. Who's going to have him? Who's really going to take Lacazette?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
I could see him going back to France.
Maybe, but his wages are ridiculously high. So if he went somewhere, they'd have to the only club that could really, no French club can now, with the current Telefoot scandal, can afford his wages. Right now. It's like 150k.
It was reported that Atletico Madrid are preparing to revisit their pursuit on Lacazette.
I can't see that happening now because they've signed Moussa Dembele from Lyon.
Yeah. You don't understand, Ewan. This saga, I've watched AFTV Transfer Daily every day for the past like 4 years, right? And this saga happens every single season. And they're like, even before he was with us, when we were trying to get Lacazette, Atletico were dueling with us. And the only reason we got Lacazette is because Atletico had a transfer ban. Literally, they've been after him for like 6-7 years and he still hasn't come. And then obviously Griezmann's gone, which was his like best friend, and now Griezmann's gone. I don't really see him going. Which not. I mean, obviously you're not gonna go for your friends, but like you know what I mean. It was though, yeah. Nketiah though, I think he's probably got another season here, and then if he doesn't kick on next season, I think he'll be gone by the end of the summer.
I could see Nketiah becoming like a perfectly decent like mid-table Premier League striker, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
maybe play for someone like West Ham or Leicester, and just go on to have a solid Premier League career, and there's nothing wrong with that.
The thing is, you're saying that this kid is England's under-23's top goal scorer.
Yeah, like it's like
he should be performing highly. Like he should be like breaking through like Greenwood, Foden. I mean Hudson-Odoi, those type of players. He should be. He is that type of player that should be breaking through like those, and he's just not.
But I think for some people, for one thing, it's not particularly hard to score goals for England's youth teams right now. Partly because of all the players you mentioned have been playing for them, and a lot of unbelievable players like creating chances and stuff. But also, I think that it's kind of similar to the situation you sometimes see with players who perform really, really well in the Championship, and then they can't make the step up to the Premier League. It's like they're almost in that limbo where they're too good for the Championship, but they're not good enough for the Premier League. And then I think maybe it's a similar thing for someone with Nketiah, who is clearly too good for Arsenal's youth teams and the England international youth teams, but he's not quite good enough to step up to a top 6 English team or the England national team.
He might be a late bloomer in terms of his physique at the minute isn't quite. So he can muscle off people in under 23s, but when it comes to the Premier League, which is quite not boisterous, what's the name of the day? A physical league. He might not be able to cope with it at the minute, but give it a couple of years, keep on bringing him off the bench. Well, I'll say a couple of years. You don't really want to hold him on for that long, just as dead wood. If he's not performing, so it's a difficult one. But with the ways he's been playing for the under 23, you'd think that he'd be breaking through soon. He obviously isn't. But on the topic,
go on.
Carry on.
I was going to say Arsenal won't be too worried about Nketiah when they have so many other really exciting youth prospects. The likes of Bukayo Saka, and Joe Willock, Smith Rowe.
Yeah, there is that.
They won't be too concerned if Nketiah doesn't fulfill his potential. They got plenty of talent there.
But on the topic of, I won't segue.
I think my cam recording is just messing up. I think the thing is with that is, if we're not going to get Nketiah, we have other strikers. I mean, we have Balogun, but where is he going? Because apparently he's not staying, and I don't know what's going on. He's got 5 months now left in his deal, and then he's gone unless we can tie him down. And his agent sucks, but his agent is the same agent as Saka, and he stayed. We need someone like him to stay, really, because if I was in his shoes, right, you can see Nketiah is struggling. This is your chance to pounce and maybe take his spot as his backup, new, young striker. Yeah. And I can see it happening. I mean, the guys, I think he had 3 goal contributions in 3 games, and it's like, I think it's less than 90 minutes he's played for the club first team, and he's made 3 goal contributions. Yeah. It's crazy. And this if he stays, you just know he's gonna do some good stuff. Hopefully, well, you like to think that because he's how well he's been.
Yeah.
But I don't know about also it's a bit frustrating, honestly. Did we speak about the actual game itself?
There's not.
Can we talk about that real quick? Because
there's not much to say, is it?
It'll be brief, but
yeah.
It was a pretty dead game, shocking performance. It shows how much we need Martinelli and Tierney on that whole left side, because Maitland-Niles is not a left back, and he's such a utility player.
Maitland-Niles, I'm sorry,
it's just sad because the thing is, Ewan, if you see Maitland-Niles actually playing like centre mid, like in the Europa League when he played centre mid with Smith Rowe, he was so good.
Europa League though.
They linked up so well. Yeah, but I mean, you can say the same thing about like Smith Rowe and Balogun did good in the Europa League, and Smith Rowe's done good in the.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. But
and Maitland-Niles did a madness against you in the FA Cup. So I mean, what you can say you're a Europa League club? All right. Cool.
Nah, but the thing is, he is literally the best. No, I can't even what I'm about to say. He is a utility player. Like, that's what everyone is using him as at the minute. England look like that's what they're going to use him as. Yeah, he's.
Yeah, and it's sad because then when you're a utility player, you can't hold down a spot in the team because you're only going to be used when there's a space, or someone's injured or this and that, and you can't hold a position, which is important. Like holding a specific position.
Yeah, because you get used to it.
Helps you.
That's how you
get
learn.
used to that role. And when he was playing right back consistently, he got better and better. And now we don't even play him there anymore. I don't think he's played right back for us. Like, I don't think he started in right back. I don't think he started for us yet this season. Maybe once or twice. And he hasn't played right back since then. But he was starting to look really good, especially like Emery's towards the end of Emery's tenure. And then obviously Arteta wasn't his biggest fan to begin with. And then he was, and then he isn't again.
Honestly, really I wish we signed him. He would have been great in centre mid for us. I was saying earlier that we need someone with energy and speed and legs in the midfield, and he could have been that. I reckon he would have been class for us if we signed him. We were this close to signing him. It's annoying.
Yeah.
If I was him, I would have gone. If I was him, I would have gone because he's staying at Arsenal. It doesn't seem to rate him, and he's not going to be able to start. Whereas the Wolves, I think he could get some more starts for Wolves.
He comes across as such a quiet player. Like, he doesn't seem like the type of person to go, Arteta, you're not playing me in the right position, play me in the position type thing. He just seems to be like happy to be like, oh, I'm not playing that often. I'll play at left back when you're return.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, he's obviously fighting to try and get there, but there's just better players than him in the midfield. Well, arguably. Partey obviously is better than him by a country mile, but that left centre mid role isn't really held by
he
anybody.
should be banging on the manager's door then.
But
demanding.
But he's not getting any chance. The thing is, he's not getting any chances to do it. He got it in the Europa League and he did good. And then he's not.
Yeah, but I'm not.
These managers who don't reward good behaviour are the reason why we're in such a spot.
But I'm saying, like, when you're at the training ground, going, oh, look what I've just done. I did this in the Europa League. Why are you not playing me? Look, we're not doing that well in midfield. You might as well bring me on, type thing.
I don't know, man. It's Arteta's club at the end of the day. He's not known for rewarding good behaviour. I mean, the performance in the Europa League don't seem to be noticed and then rewarded in the Premier League with Premier League minutes. And I don't know why. It just seems to be how he wants to run the club, and if it works for him, it works for him. But I mean, we went through a pretty rough patch until he started playing youngsters. The moment he brought Smith Rowe and Saka on at the same time, we won our games. And Martinelli as well. And I could see Maitland-Niles, if he had Maitland-Niles linking up with Partey, I think he could actually be all right. But we'll never know. We're not going to know, are we? So I could be right.
We've kind of glossed over transfers. Let's have a proper transfer talk.
Can I do mine first?
Yeah, go for it. I already mentioned it.
You love Arsenal anyway. We're linked with Mana Solomon, and I only know him because of Football Manager, but he's good. He looks good from what I've heard. I mean, he's at Shakhtar. And I didn't think Shakhtar had good players. Like, I was thinking, like, Shakhtar, Ukraine. But then I realised, like, mad players come from Shakhtar.
Yeah, you think about the squad, the quality of players that have come from Shakhtar. You know, Willian, Fernandinho. Obviously, Willian's terrible now, but he wasn't. He didn't used to be terrible. So
there's clearly players that do it.
And
I like him like that.
I've seen glimpses of him in the Champions League, because obviously they were in the Champions League group with Real Madrid, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Inter Milan, which is a tough group. And Shakhtar, they had some awful games. They got absolutely battered by Borussia Mönchengladbach. But
they did hold their own in some, though.
But they beat Real Madrid. They beat Real Madrid. And I think he scored against Real Madrid, and it was a really good goal. I seem to remember it. I seem to remember it being a really good goal. So, he's got a lot of talent. I presume he's a national. I can't imagine there's many better Israeli players.
He's Israeli.
So there's a lot. There's already plenty of experience there. And 20 years old, 21? Wouldn't cost very much.
He's young.
Yeah, seems like
the thing is though is that he predominantly plays on the wing. Yeah, like he can play in the middle, of course, but like on the wing, I don't know.
Are you not struggling for players on the wing? You're playing Aubameyang on the wing and Willian, aren't you? And you've got Pepe that's not working.
The thing is we're not really, but we are, because in theory we have loads of wingers. We have Saka, we've got Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe can play on the wing. Let's say Saka, Martinelli, Reece Nelson. You've got Willian. Pepe. That's 5 off the top of my head. Plus Aubameyang who plays a makeshift winger. All of those wingers can, apart from Aubameyang, can play on either wing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have basically 5 wingers on either wing. That's too many wingers, really. Willian isn't even good enough. Pepe hasn't shown that he's good enough yet. Aubameyang is having a rough patch at the moment. So, Saka is a starting winger. Reece Nelson, I haven't seen much of him, but when he did play, he hasn't been that good. And Martinelli is just unplayable. He's just been amazing. So, we have 2 main wingers at the moment. And we have a bunch of backups. So, if you got Mana Solomon, I can't really see him fitting. He could probably fit between like the Pepe and Saka threshold, but then we've also spent £72 million on someone who's literally never going to play for us again.
Yeah,
I don't see it. Thinking of.
Not like we've ever done that.
I don't know why you're laughing. I don't know why you're laughing. How can you pipe up to me now? Are you really,
Mate, we've
want to go
never
there?
done that. What are you on about?
All right then.
Chelsea spend 70 million on a player they're not going to use.
This guy really tried to. Don't go there, Ewan. You don't want the smoke.
I don't know what you're on about,
Not
mate.
today.
We've never
Stop
spent
it.
70 million on a player.
Stop it.
Playing.
Stop it. Stop it. You're an idiot. But anyway, yeah, I like him, but winger maybe not. Number 10. Originally, we had this conversation last time about Smith Rowe's development, and maybe we do need another number 10, just to get in the way of in case Smith Rowe gets injured. Yeah, he does get injuries, and he's young. You don't want him to be starting week in, week out at 21. You do want to get him a fair few minutes at this age, but not every weekend. And then we desperately need number 8. It's so obvious now that having these players is cool, like Smith Rowe doing really well, Saka doing really well, but they're also young and they're not going to be consistent yet. And we need someone who can consistently kick the team on, create chances that Aubameyang and Lacazette have to put away. And unfortunately, our midfielders aren't going to do that. Ceballos did a really good display against Crystal Palace. He made quite a few good chances, but I mean, it's not enough. Xhaka isn't that kind of midfielder, neither is Partey. So who does that? We tried Willock, he isn't good enough. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen with Willock because he is 22. And I think he'll go the same way as Nketiah as like a midfield player. I don't think we'll keep him for very much longer. We tried to, apparently there was rumours that we were looking at maybe offering him or Reece Nelson in a swap deal for Buendia plus cash, but I don't think either of them are going to want to go to the Championship. But it wouldn't surprise me if they got relegated into it at some point in their career. That's not shade, it's just they're not kicking it. That's so harsh. I don't know why.
I was like, really?
I was thinking about Danny Welbeck about it, and like gonna get. They don't want to go there, but they get relegated into it. But like the way they are now, maybe they were a late bloomer, like you said. But at this point, they aren't the answer to our club right now, and maybe they need to go on loan, or maybe they just need to go. I hope they do come good for us. Of course, with any youngster, I hope they do. But
I mean, talking about loan, Fikayo Tomori.
I swear we've
we haven't. Right, Fikayo Tomori are potentially on loan to AC Milan. With the bit that I don't like, there's looking like there's going to be a clause that there's going to be an option to buy for 30 million euros, which is around what, £27 million?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. We would know the exchange rates.
Mate, I've been watching so much of this. I do not want that option to be to buy in there at all. I want Tomori back at Chelsea. I think he's a class player.
Is he? Be honest, right? Is he good enough? Do you think he can be good enough with the defense you have right now? Is he getting past Thiago Silva?
Not right now, no. But Thiago Silva's going to be going soon. I don't even know if we're going to renew his contract at the end of the year.
I think he will.
So he's so quick, and he's got one-on-one is outstanding, mainly because of his pace. If he can go to AC Milan, potentially win the league with them, and then come back a better player, like it's one of those ones where we could be letting go of a player that become top class type of things, which is kind of I don't want that to happen.
Put it this way then. Let's put it this way. You've got Rudiger and Christensen who are also ahead of him, right? Who are getting in the team instead of him. So there must be something that Fat Frank doesn't see within Tomori to put him ahead of those two players. Clearly, because Rudiger isn't even that good. Come on, Rudiger's not that good.
I mean, to be fair to me, he's played really well recently when he's played for us.
But Tomori had a better season last season than Rudiger.
Which is why I'm a bit confused by it. And Frank Lampard came up last week, I think, at the press conference, and said he has a plan for Tomori, which is like, well, if you've got a plan, why is he? Why are you putting up? Well, unless it's not Lampard's decision, why are you putting an option to buy in there? And if he becomes, if he plays for AC Milan, they win the league with him in that squad. 30 mil.
Yeah.
Might as well go for that.
Yeah.
I could see him doing pretty good there. I mean, when you look at other things, Smalling is a perfect example to go with. Like, Smalling went to Roma, did really good, and now he's there permanently.
Yeah, so
because he's just.
But there seems to be a bit of a merry-go-round transfer at the minute with Tomori linked into it. You've got Simakan going to RB Leipzig.
Mm-hmm.
Is that confirmed?
Well, it's not confirmed, but it looks like it's been pretty heavily rumoured that with Upamecano almost guaranteed to leave in the summer, they're now looking to bring in Simakan to replace Upamecano at Leipzig. Upamecano, I mean, who knows? He could go to Chelsea, and then Tomori goes to Milan. So I don't know. It's a pretty interesting triangle that's kind of forming here.
Yeah, and I think Upamecano's already spoken out and said something. I can't remember the exact quote, but basically said he'd be delighted and he's flattered that Chelsea are looking at him. So who knows in the summer, Upamecano, which then goes, do we really need Thiago Silva for another year to play? I mean, back in the back, like not back room, but like to have him there as experience 100%. I think that's for another year. Why not? But when you've got Upamecano and Zuma most likely going to be the two starting players, then you've got Rudiger and Christensen and Thiago Silva, those three. Why? What's the point in keeping him? Type thing. He's going to be on a massive salary.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. To be fair, I think that's the only transfer news from Chelsea in terms of players. Obviously, we've had the Frank Lampard saga. Who's going to replace him? Which.
Thomas Tuchel.
So you've got Tuchel that I actually don't want him to be there anymore in our shortlist. So after researching here a lot of things, he wins a lot of stuff.
You were doing research? What?
When it comes to my own club, I dabble. No, but there's been reports that a lot of players have said, "Oh, flip me! I've hit my mic." There's a lot of players that have said that he's not very good when it comes to man management. Players fall out with him quite a lot. Thiago Silva said that he should have been sacked last season. So much as he probably gets the best out of the players, it seems like it kind of doesn't go well in the long term type thing, which I think for Chelsea we need that long term. I mean, that's what we need to be looking for.
He's left both of his last two clubs in quite bitter circumstances. I mean, he brought Borussia Dortmund their first silverware since Jurgen Klopp left. He won them the German Cup, but eventually left under a bit of a cloud. There was definitely some fallings out that happened there. And then at PSG, he ended up leaving, despite leading them to their first Champions League final and winning them back-to-back league titles. He left because he fell out with their sporting director, and I think his coaching methods are quite intense and can definitely lead to some unpopularity with the players. And so I think he's a very good manager.
Yeah, but you have to.
Man management is also very important.
The problem with PSG as well is there's so many egos in the club. You can't.
There
deny.
is.
You've got Neymar, who is probably the biggest ego.
The other thing is,
Mbappe is.
But you're saying that. The other thing is could you put? I mean, this is probably going a bit over the top, but could you put any manager in that dressing room and those players with that quality? They could, and the league they're in, they could do it. Pretty much anyone, really. When you look at their stuff.
Yeah,
they basically bullied Emery when he.
In the league, they should, those players, they should win that league every single year. And
without a manager.
So would Tuchel really? Could he handle the type of play? I mean, there's not that big of players, but our Chelsea players we've shown for Lampard, they won't play for him, but they don't just have the quality to go on and just essentially play their own football. So Tuchel's is a difficult one as a Chelsea fan. The other one is Nagelsmann.
Nagelsmann. He's not going anywhere. You're not getting Nagelsmann. I don't know why you think you will. There's no way he's leaving to go to Chelsea because his team. He's built that team so much. He's young. No.
Nagelsmann.
He's still got a job.
Yeah.
He's never getting sacked, bro. He's never. I promise you. The only way he gets sacked to be gets relegated. He's honestly one of the best managers.
But he's like 33.
He is in the shortlist.
I mean, he would be.
I feel like if you offered him a contract,
he would be.
He's built. Yeah,
he would be an amazing manager signing if you could get him out of Leipzig because he's such a great manager and so young and plays such an exciting brand of football. But yeah, I don't see you getting him out of Leipzig.
His football is so nice to watch.
It's insane it's crazy. I don't know how he manages to get so much like attacking wise out of teams. Like at Hoffenheim, he was like getting 25 goals a season out of like people no one has ever heard of and never will hear of because now that he's gone, they've gone back to being totally average players with the exception of one or two who are genuinely great. And then at Leipzig, they just every single attacker in that team just produces at such a high level and they create so many chances and they score so many goals. I mean, Werner scored so many there and Poulsen and Kunku. Now they've got Dani Olmo, who's been great. So he's a brilliant manager.
Came out of,
Red Bull, they will not let him go.
So there's him. There's also Brendan Rodgers, which I can't quite see him leaving Leicester.
Everyone seems to. The thing is, with Rodgers is like because Arsenal are after him as well. There's rumours of a clause in his contract that would like let him go to a Big 6 team or something. Like if they made
the other thing, he's got links with Chelsea because that's where he started off his managing career. He started. Well, it was our youth manager.
Yeah.
Oh right.
It's where
I couldn't see him wanting to leave Leicester at this point. I mean, especially how they do it. They're better than you.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Second, which I couldn't believe. But yeah, the second I can't see him leaving, and I think that's it really.
And then the one that I don't really know much about is Allegri.
To
the point where I've spelled his name so I can say it right.
Allegri he's very different.
He doesn't speak any English.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. But he's very different to those other three managers that you've mentioned. Very different to Lampard in the style of football. Obviously, Lampard wants to play quite attacking football, and Nagelsmann wants to play very attacking football. Tuchel wants to play very attacking football. Brendan Rodgers, a little more patient, a bit more, controlling possession, but still ultimately he wants to create a good attacking side. Allegri is a very defensive coach. He is very typically Italian in his management style. Obviously, he was at Juventus for a long time, and he really built this idea of Juventus as just an impenetrable backline with, the Chiellini and Bonucci and Barzagli. And obviously he left 2 years ago now, hasn't had a job since.
Has it been 2?
I think, yeah. Oh no, 1.5. Okay, because Sarri replaced him, didn't he?
Sarri
and then he was there for a year, and now it's Pirlo. So 1.5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it would we would basically be going backwards because you've gone from Sarri that's very, very defensive, and uses Jorginho as kind of the. Is it? In fact, he's not defensive really. He's more possession based. I take it back.
Sarri's kind of similar to Brendan Rodgers in that way that he wants to just control the ball for the whole game, and that can be quite boring. Not necessarily defensive, but boring.
Yeah, it's Conte that played more of a defense. He played 5 at the back.
Yeah. And I mean,
which would be taking a step back. It'd be like, so we've just gone for really attacking players to then go, oh, now it's go defensive again.
Yeah, it's like when you got rid of Conte and before that Mourinho. Obviously, you've had a lot of success in the past playing as quite a defensive team. But when you got rid of those guys, there seemed to be this idea in with Abramovich that he wanted the team to play more attacking football, and that's initially why he hired Sarri. Although a bit of a misconception that Sarri plays attacking football.
Bad choice.
And then brought in Lampard, attacking manager, and it looks like there's this philosophy now at the club that you want to play attacking football. So Allegri would seem like a weird one because it's just it's almost like Abramovich saying, well, this hasn't worked, let's go back to, the Conte way and the Mourinho way. So it would be a weird one. And also, I don't see particularly how the squad fits into a defensive style of football, because
it doesn't.
I think you've spent so much money on building an attacking focused squad, and then to go for a defensive manager just doesn't really make much sense.
Yeah, so I think there's probably another manager in there in our short list, but they are the main ones. But thankfully, he won against Fulham, which was pretty much the if he lost, that was it. But
just about. I mean, I put it as a 1-0 win. Funny enough, I made a bet. Can I just say how frustrated? I'm never betting on your club or Werner again. Can I just say I made an accumulator, right, of West Brom to win. No, listen to the odds though. The odds are like 800 to 1 as well. It's going to name
West
like
Brom to win,
right? Yeah, West Brom. That was the main kicker. Like West Brom to win. It was like Chelsea to win 1-0 and Werner to get a single shot on target. And the guy missed. He missed.
He is dreadful at the minute.
When I saw him miss that. Okay, listen. After you've done this, a bit of homework for you, lad. Like when we finish with this, I want you to go on YouTube. I just want you to type in.
No, I've seen it.
Werner miss
I've seen it.
Have you seen the meme? Have you seen it?
I
mean, there's like 7 clubs. This guy's been in your club for 6 months and he's made so many. How did he not register a single shot on target in that game? I mean, I know he came off the bench, but when I saw him running down the wing, I was like, yes.
He needs some time out.
Yes. Money, and then he missed.
I genuinely think.
No, he think he needs because that doesn't help.
No, I think it does.
He's only just come.
I think he needs.
No, he's only just because the thing is, right, is he's only been in the club for 6 months. So if you give someone time out, like Aubameyang would do with time out, because he understands the Premier League and he understands that he's not performing. Werner doesn't seem to have an understanding of the Premier League yet. You can't give
I'm saying more.
He comes back and he instantly gets
I'm saying
understanding
more
of how Premier League
the fact that he seems to be his confidence is down massively. I feel like what he needs is to come off the bench, score a goal, and then all of a sudden, he's scoring again. Type of thing.
No, but if you give him time out now, right?
Yeah, but
his confidence is going to be even more down because he thinks he's not.
The same point is if you keep on playing him in his bad form and he keeps on missing, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Look what happened to Kepa. We carried on playing him, and he just got worse and worse and worse. So,
do you know what else I think the problem is as well is I've said this earlier in the podcast. It's like managers who don't reward good behaviour are always going to be in trouble because obviously I know it's Morecambe, but it's a psychological thing where you build your confidence by scoring goals, no matter what. It could be.
The thing is, Lampard typically does. It's just for this game. I don't know if that's because he wants them to.
Yeah, but you can't do that against these star players. When Havertz and Werner are doing that, you have to. No,
but what I'm saying, I'll obviously wait and see what happens with Leicester, but there's a potential that he went right. We're kind of, if you look at that team, I mean, we're playing Jorginho. We didn't play Zuma in that game. I don't know whether he kind of was resting certain players for the Fulham game because we've got Leicester. But we'll have to wait and see for that.
I can understand that, but you've got to think of it as this like a stepping stool. Like you've started low with Morecambe, you can hack that, cool. Okay, now you go to Fulham, can you hack that? Yes. Cool. It's literally probably the best situation.
I know. I see what you mean.
Gradually.
Also, at the same time, Werner doesn't suit Fulham, playing against Fulham at all. The only reason he got through on goal was because Fulham were pushing. Other than that,
Should he get that? Other than
that, there was no room for him to run in behind, and we literally just had to cross the ball in, which is pretty much how we scored the goal anyway. The ball got crossed in, it came back across. But that's enough to.
Just before we finish up, Werner is a player who really suits, being able to get in behind constantly, obviously, because he's so fast. And that's one of the reasons he did so well in the Bundesliga, where there's this culture in the Bundesliga of high pressing football. All the teams do it. That's where pressing came from almost. The modern form of pressing came with people like Jurgen Klopp. So in Germany, it's so high tempo, high line attacking football that someone like Werner could really thrive. And imagine, and I'm not saying that he won't eventually get, settle down in the Premier League and actually start scoring goals, but coming from that culture to the Premier League, where there's a lot more teams who sit deep and defend, it's definitely gonna take him quite a while, I think, to adjust to that. And I can't get it in my head that Werner is a bad striker. I still think he will come good. So it might take a lot longer than we expected.
Yeah, I mean, it might not have till next season. I mean, Pulisic, he had a dreadful start of the season at Chelsea to the point where Frank Lampard didn't want to play him. Look what happened after lockdown and we restarted the Premier League. He was phenomenal. I'm not saying that Werner will do that. Don't hold me to that because that'll look really bad when he doesn't. But one last topic in the transfers, probably one of the biggest ones at the minute. Dele Alli on loan to PSG.
Yeah.
It
looks like it's going to happen. It looks pretty likely.
Well, the thing is, you say that Spurs don't want to let him go on loan, which is
why?
really bizarre.
Not playing? On loan? Or?
Yeah, it's on loan.
No. Do they not want to let him go out on loan?
They don't
because they want to sell him.
I don't know whether they.
No,
want to sell him.
I don't think Mourinho wants to get rid of him at all.
Why? He doesn't play him.
Yeah.
The guy literally just plays him in cup games and then just doesn't play him in the Prem. And he's clearly because he's been in the Prem for so long. I don't think people understand. Dele Alli's been in the Prem. He had that one season, was it 17, 18?
Well, he joined in 2016. His first 2 or 3 years, he was phenomenal, wasn't he? And
yeah, exactly. So he clearly got it in him, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Poch or the new management that just hasn't suited him. But he's clearly good enough, and if he went to PSG, I have no question he'd tear up that league alongside.
I mean,
because it's France. You're playing against Nimes and Rennes, and maybe not Rennes actually. Camavinga would eat him alive. But I think against some other clubs, he'd be fine. But maybe for him to stay at Tottenham. Why? It's just not beneficial for his career to stay there anymore, I don't think.
I don't know where I've got this number from, so don't quote me on it. I'm pretty sure it looks wrong, but there's some an £8 million that will go to Tottenham or something for this loan. That doesn't sound right though, so don't quote me.
Oh, loan fee. That wouldn't surprise me.
It sounds like a reasonable loan fee.
That
doesn't sound too bad to me.
But yeah, I think
no, because that's what they're quoting for us, Isco and that.
So yeah, that's also in it as well. But yeah, I don't understand why they don't want to let him go. I mean, it's a loan, for goodness sake. He could come back so much more confident.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is with Dele Alli, it was shown in the documentary, he doesn't work hard at training, right? He was working hard when he first came to Tottenham because it was all of a sudden like a breakout, or he came to a massive club and he wanted to work for it. If he goes to PSG, he could find that form again, and all of a sudden, I'm playing for PSG. Come on, let's do this type of thing.
And he'll be making stacks if he goes. He'd be getting paid so well if he went to PSG.
It could just be like a what's the word? Like starting your engine back up. I don't know, kickstarting it. That's the one. Kickstarting his career.
I feel like I think honestly, I don't think Jose likes him. The way he plays.
I don't know.
Let him go
it's
then.
Weird. It's weird though that when Mourinho joined Spurs, I thought Dele Alli.
He was doing really good.
Well, and also I thought Dele Alli seems like exactly the kind of player that Mourinho would like. He's quite, he's an attacker, but he's quite physical. He's tall, and he did at one point at least have a very good defensive work rate. That kind of didn't last, but he should. In my opinion, he should have worked under Mourinho. He should have done really well, and it started like that, and then he just, I don't know.
Yeah, he had a good run of games, didn't he, with Kane, where he was just getting goals and assists every game for maybe 4 or 5
And then he just dropped off, and Mourinho stopped playing him, and it's not even like, we've seen that Mourinho is willing to give people another chance, and we've seen it with Ndombele, who scored an amazing goal today, and he's absolutely... he's absolutely back on top of his game. This is the best football he's played for Spurs. So obviously Mourinho is willing to give people that new chance to, push back into the team. So I don't know. Is it something? Is Dele Alli not happy?
Yeah,
Obviously,
his
now that you said that,
rate.
I remember. And Ndombele said he hated Mourinho at the start of the season because he didn't play him, and now he seems to be having his best times. And it wouldn't surprise me if Dele Alli, after seeing that goal, didn't just start packing his bags from that. He's like, it's over for me. I'll get the suitcase.
Yeah. Anyway, one last thing on the podcast: Wayne Rooney.
Oh, one more.
Wayne Rooney. He's now retired. What a career he's had. He ain't gonna be what.
Fam, can I just say? I remember when I was must have been 8 or 9 when he did that overhead kick.
Yeah.
I didn't see it firsthand. I was at my friend's house and he scored it and he was like screaming. It was the best. That was probably my best football moment. Like, I'm not even a United fan, and it was just.
Congratulations on your retirement. You ain't gonna be watching this, but I can say it anyway because what a player he was.
What do you mean? Rooney's a huge fan. He's the biggest fan.
And I think worth mentioning, obviously he's retired to become the full-time manager of Derby, and since he became the caretaker manager, they've had a real upturn in form. So I don't know, maybe he'll take a similar route to Lampard, and we'll see Rooney in the Premier League manager in a few years. That'd be good. Imagine if in a few years' time you've got Lampard, Gerrard, and Rooney all managing in the Premier League. That'd just be fun.
Ridiculous.
I could see Rooney going, like, if Solskjaer lasts a few more years at United and obviously Rooney's still then they'll probably just offer
Lampard at Chelsea, Rooney at United, and then Gerrard comes in as Liverpool manager in a couple of years.
Liverpool.
We've
already got Arteta
at Arsenal as well.
It's just that's quite he's the last one. City have got no legends, so they're kind of
Yaya Toure in a few years. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's still playing, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Go subscribe. Much appreciated. Links to our Twitter, TikTok, and what's the other one? Spotify.
Come on.
We're on Spotify.
It's in the description, so go check those out. And yeah. See ya.
All right. Bye.